G'day folks. Oh, well, I'm doing a little maintenance on it while I'm waiting for my MSD 6AL to turn up. It should turn up this week, next few days hopefully, and we'll do a vid on that and go right through it and explain all the workings of it and how I intend to set it all up. Exciting, I can't wait. This is actually the second time, guys, that I've checked the charge pipe for oil. This has plagued me for years with the previous design that I had, running a closed, was basically just the pipe running up into the turbo and the scavenge pump was just pumping it out. It worked, but it never solved, well, I always had oil coming in through the charge pipe and it was blowing out the bloody exhaust all the time. Well, since I've made this box, guys, we've had no issues whatsoever, and it's been just bloody awesome. It really has. It's one of the biggest hurdles for mounting a rear mount is the oil drain back, as far as I'm concerned. Doing the charge pipe, setting up the wastegate, exhaust system. Yeah, it's been a little challenge, I must admit. It hasn't been easy, especially the exhaust system. I had a lot of trouble with it growing, and if you want a solid mount, well, you've really got to solid mount your turbo, because I had it originally just rubber mounted, and the bloody thing would move around, and it was a real hassle. It just ruined my exhaust system, because we're looking at nearly 20 kilo in weight, and especially when you're braking really hard, the whole lot wanting to move forward, and it was just compressing all my pipes and buckling it all, and it all sagged. Well, since I've solid mounted the turbo and I've put them flexible, nice big flexible bellows in it, and that allowed, they'll compress an easy 15 mil each. So I've got a total of 30 millimeters of growth for the exhaust system. And since I've done all that, guys, I've had no issues whatsoever. It's been bloody brilliant, that setup. But the drain box has been the biggest challenge, guys, to date. To get this sort of all nutted out and solved, it took me a little while to nut this all out. You know, like there is information out there on the internet, but you've really got to, well, for me it took a while just to click on how it all had to work, and then it was design and coming up with an idea on how to get it all flush, because you don't want it hanging down too low, because it's low enough as it is. But after all this design and effort I put into it, it's just been brilliant. It really has. It's as I say, it's set me free as far as reliability goes. I've been fairly well, you know, not beating on the car, but I've been leaning on it, and it's proved itself. It really has. So I've got this system down to pat, and you know, reliability and good performance is the key to it all, guys. It really is. I can't believe how well it works. I've had a little bit of oil come out of the breather. Look, it doesn't worry me. That's I was half expecting a little bit, but it obviously breathes inside. It needs to breathe. It's simple as that. To be honest, I didn't think it would blow any oil out, but obviously inside, under the turbine side, with the pressure build up from the exhaust side, you're obviously going to build, you know, it bleeds into the centre housing. So, and you're compressing air, you are using compressed gases on the exhaust side. So where's it, you know, you're going to get a certain amount of bleed through going to the centre of the turbo. So if you don't have it vented, it's going to cause all sorts of issues, and that was the biggest problem I had with it. When you mount them on the engine and run the drain, into the sump, well, it's got somewhere to breathe. It has to be, though, a well-vented engine. I mean, if you had an engine it wasn't vented really well, and there was a fair bit of crankcase pressure, I think that it'd even be enough to cause issues. But venting it is number one key, especially for rear mounting. So since I've done that, that's it. It's all vanished. It's gone. It's been awesome. I love it. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to show you something before I go. Very interesting. I was actually talking to a fella that I'm going to buy get a crank off, and he just wanted to know whether it was a Chev Journal crank or a Holden 308 Journal. And I verified it with my other rods, and it's a Holden, the same diameter. These are actually 010s, so they're 10 thou oversized bearings, because my 308 cranks had a grind, and that was the only difference. But I want to show you guys, about 6-8 months ago, I showed you a video on a Conrod. This is actually these are the old rods out of my 308. I'll tell you a little story. Well, obviously you can see it there, it's bent. Look at it. That's unreal. It's actually bent there too. What happened was, guys, when I put the quick fuel carby on and I hooked up the fuel system and got it all running, I flooded the carby, and I ended up flooding the engine with the fuel pump because I didn't realise the floats had stuck on the new carb, so it never came up and sealed off. So she just basically flooded the engine with fuel. And stupid me, I hit the key and hydraulic the engine. Well, it wasn't till I only just done that motor up I realised what had happened, and I hydraulicked it obviously, and I bent a rod. And I'd been running this rod for probably 4 years, like that. It's actually, I measured it, it's actually around 80 thousandths. This rod here is 80 thousandths shorter. So it's about 2 mil shorter, it is, a whisker over, 2.1 mil shorter than the original, than the straight rod. Unbelievable that I ran this for nearly 4 years and it never had a clue what was going on with it. It's unbelievable how it can compress and lose 2 millimeters. That's unbelievable, guys. All right, I thought I'd share you that little thing there. It just that's unreal. It's not the boost that caused it. It was the fuel with the hydraulic, and I've heard some other stories with other people having the same problem, bending rods and causing all sorts of problems with it. All right, guys. Well, I'll put one up soon. Catch you later.